Why did Abimelech kill his own brothers? Imagine a time when the leadership of a nation was always in dispute, where ambition and betrayal walked hand in hand. In this turbulent setting, Abimelech emerged, a man whose thirst for power led him to commit one of the most shocking acts in the Bible, the massacre of his 70 brothers. But who was Abimelech? Why did he desire his father Gideon's throne so much? And what drove him to such extreme cruelty? Prepare for a story of unbridled ambition, dark conspiracies, and a relentless quest for power. Let's explore chapter 9 of the book of Judges and discover the lessons this narrative has for us. If you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and turn on notifications so you won't miss future videos. There was a time in Israel when the people turned away from God's ways, turning to idols and abandoning the Lord's laws and precepts. In these dark times, the land was ravaged by enemies and the people lived in fear and oppression. It was in this context that Gideon, son of Joash, was threshing wheat in the winepress to hide it from the Midianites, the invaders who devastated the land of Israel. Gideon was a descendant of Manasseh and belonged to the humblest family in the tribe of Asher. One day, while working, an angel of the Lord appeared to him under an oak in Ophrah, saying, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Surprised and frightened, Gideon asked the angel why all these calamities had befallen Israel and where were all the miracles their ancestors had told him about. The angel replied, "Go in the strength you have and save Israel from the hand of Midian. Am I not sending you?" Aware of his own weakness and insignificance, Gideon argued that his family was the least in Manasseh and that he was the youngest in his house. But the angel of the Lord insisted, "I will be with you, and you will strike down all the Midianites, leaving none alive." With a heart full of fear and determination, Gideon obeyed the voice of the Lord. He gathered an army of brave men, though modest in number, and prepared to face the Midianites. But before going into battle, Gideon asked the Lord for a sign to confirm his mission. That night, the Lord granted Gideon a miraculous sign. Dew covered a fleece laid on the ground, all the ground remained dry. Then he reversed the sign, making the ground wet while the fleece remained dry. With renewed faith, Gideon gathered his army, but God commanded him to reduce the number of men from 32,000 to just 300, so that the victory would clearly be a divine act. Armed only with trumpets, jars, and torches, Gideon and his 300 men spectacularly defeated the Midianites, causing confusion in the enemy camp and resulting in a decisive victory for Israel. Gideon's victory over the Midianites not only freed Israel from oppression, but also elevated his status as a leader. After the battle, the Israelites wanted to make Gideon and his descendants a royal dynasty, but he refused, stating that the Lord was the true king of Israel. Nonetheless, he lived as a man of great influence and wealth, accumulating a large family. Gideon had many wives, and from these relationships, 70 sons were born. They lived in relative peace and prosperity, enjoying the fruits of their victories and the respect their father had earned. However, the large number of sons also meant many aspirations and potential conflicts within the family. Among these sons, one stood out for his ambition and thirst for power. Abimelech, the son of a concubine. His mother was from Shechem, a major Canaanite city, giving him a distinct and significant connection with its inhabitants. Abimelech's story is marked by unbridled ambition, manifested early. Even though he was Gideon's son, Abimelech felt inferior because his mother was a concubine, placing him in a socially inferior position compared to his half-brothers. This uncomfortable position fueled his determination to change his fate, regardless of the means necessary to achieve the power he believed was his by right. Abimelech was a man of great cunning and skill in manipulating those around him. His ambition knew no bounds, and he was willing to do anything to rise to power. He understood that to consolidate his position and stand out among Gideon's many sons, he needed to distinguish himself not only by strength, but also by intelligence and persuasion. With Gideon's death, Abimelech saw a golden opportunity to fulfill his ambitions. He knew that without a strong leader, Israel would be vulnerable to internal divisions and power struggles. Seizing this situation, he began to plot his path to the throne. The first step in Abimelech's plan was to approach the elders of Shechem, his mother's hometown. Shechem was an important city both politically and religiously, and its support would be crucial for any attempt to rise to power. Abimelech knew he needed to convince the city's leaders that he was the best choice to rule Israel. Cunningly, Abimelech presented himself to the elders of Shechem and began to argue his case. He appealed to local pride and the desire for autonomy among the men of Shechem, saying, "Remember, I am one of you, your own flesh and blood. Is it better for you to be ruled by one of your own or by the sons of Gideon, who have no connection to this city?" His persuasion was based not only on political logic, but also on emotional and strategic appeals. He promised that, if supported, he would ensure the prosperity and security of Shechem. The elders of Shechem, enticed by Abimelech's promises and the prospect of having a king with strong local ties, decided to support him. They recognized the opportunity to consolidate their power and influence in Israel through Abimelech. Abimelech's brutality was revealed when he used his mercenary army to attack his own brothers. In an unprecedented act of cruelty, he killed his 70 brothers, ensuring there were no rivals for his throne. This brutal massacre highlighted the extent of his ambition and his willingness to spill blood to achieve his goals. However, one brother, Jotham, managed to escape and hide, casting a curse on Abimelech and the men of Shechem. Jotham knew he needed to warn the people about the injustice and betrayal they had committed by supporting Abimelech. In an act of courage and desperation, Jotham climbed to the top of Mount Gerizim, where he could be heard by all. From there, he shouted in a loud voice, delivering a powerful message through a parable that would become famous: Parable of the Trees. In the parable, Jotham compared the leaders and people of Israel to trees seeking a king to rule over them. First, the trees went to the olive tree, a noble and useful plant, which refused to rule, saying, "Should I give up my oil, by which gods and humans are honored, to hold sway over the trees?" The trees then went to the fig tree, another valuable plant, which also refused, saying, "Should I give up my fruit, so good and sweet, to hold sway over the trees?" Next, the trees went to the vine, which produces wine that cheers both gods and humans. However, the vine also refused, saying, "Should I give up my wine, which cheers both gods and humans, hold sway over the trees?" Finally, in desperation, the trees went to the thorn bush, an insignificant and dangerous plant. And the thorn bush, unlike the noble plants, accepted the offer, saying, "If you really want to anoint me king over you, come and take refuge in my shade. But if not, let fire come out of the thorn bush and consume the cedars of Lebanon." Through this parable, Jotham warned the people of Shechem they had chosen an unworthy and dangerous leader in Abimelech, who would bring destruction upon them. Jotham's prophecy was soon fulfilled. After 3 years of a fragile reign, Abimelech faced a revolt led by Gaal, son of Ebed. Dissatisfied with his tyranny, the citizens of Shechem joined Gaal to challenge the king. Zebul, the city's governor loyal to Abimelech, informed the king of the conspiracy, leading to a surprise attack against the rebels. Although Abimelech managed to temporarily disperse the insurgents, the tension continued to rise. The revolt culminated in a final confrontation at Thebez, where the inhabitants sought refuge in a fortified tower. Determined to eliminate any opposition, Abimelech ordered the tower to be set on fire. However, in an act of courage, a woman threw a millstone from the tower, striking Abimelech and fatally wounding him. To avoid the shame of being killed by a woman, he asked his armor-bearer to kill him with a sword. The death of Abimelech marked the end of a reign of unbridled ambition and brutality. His fall not only brought temporary relief to the people of Israel, but also served as a powerful lesson on the dangers of relentless pursuit of power and the inevitable justice of God. Lessons from the story of Abimelech. The story of Abimelech is a stark warning about the dangers of unchecked ambition and betrayal. His blind desire for power led to the death of his own brothers and his own tragic fate. Divine justice manifested, not only punishing Abimelech but also reminding everyone that, in the end, justice prevails. This narrative teaches us the importance of choosing wise and just leaders who govern with integrity and compassion. Moreover, it reminds us that true power does not lie in strength or wealth, but in righteous character and dedication to higher principles. Abimelech's story is a clear example of how the pursuit of power at any cost can lead to destruction. May we learn from Abimelech's mistakes and seek leaders who promote the well-being of all, respect moral values, and honor divine justice. I hope this video has provided valuable insights. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share your thoughts in the comments. May God bless you all.